More news on the go. The Commission for Gender Equality will today host a conference to assess the strides, constraints and challenges that are still a hindrance to the attainment of gender equality in the country since the dawn of democracy. As per South Africa's legislative mandate, the Commission is obliged to help strengthen and deepen democracy to ensure a society free from all forms of gender oppression and inequality. The aim of this conference is to reflect on progress made towards the attainment of gender equality through the 3 decades of South Africa's democracy. Watching those developments is Natasha, Phiri, SABC News reporter, who's live to us now from Sandton in Johannesburg. And Natasha, of course, you know, the Commission itself is a Chapter 9 institution that some people might argue doesn't get enough attention, especially when you consider how important the work they do actually is.
Well, definitely, and of course, this is quite a very important topic, that we're actually speaking about, or that will be discussed today, gender equality, and actually just looking through the 30 years of democracy, the advances, the hindrances, and ensuring that there is gender equality holistically in the country. This past month in August, we were just reflecting on the strides made to ensure that there is gender equality. We know that in Parliament, in terms of gender representation, around 1994, you had 19% of female parliamentarians, and that has actually shot up to 45%. And these are just some of the topics that will be discussed. But amongst them, I just want to bring your attention to the fact that last month, when we attended some releases of reports by the Commission, there was a study, a 2023-2024 study entitled "Exploring Barriers to Women's Access to Communal Land in Selected Provinces in South Africa." And I understand, the stats are quite shocking. This research found that women only own 13% of farms and agricultural land compared to the 71% that males also, own. So these are just some of the topics that will be seen discussed here. But of course, let me just take this conversation to Mr. Jabu Baloyi, who's the spokesperson of the Commission. Thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. Quite an interesting topic that we're discussing here. Yes, we do acknowledge the strides that have been made in ensuring gender equality, but unfortunately, the country still has a long way to go.
Thank you very much, Natasha, and thanks to the viewers at home. As a Commission for Gender Equality, we are concerned at the slow pace in which we are taking towards the attainment of gender equality. The reports which you have just mentioned in your intro show us that we still have a long way to go. We still have to have a deliberate deliberate intention to ensure that there's gender equality, gender equity, and gender parity in the country. As a country, we cannot be pleased. It's an indictment to us and the lawmakers to say women are in majority, yet women are suffering the most. Women are in poverty-stricken, suffering abject poverty, and women are not in a position of influence in leadership. Because when you look around, even in the media, one of the topics that will be discussed is very few women who are heading the newsroom. If they are there, it's mostly men. And also the corporate sector, it's not only in government only, even the private sector, it's an indictment on us as a country where we are being given those stars by everyone that our constitution is the most advanced constitution, yet we are not doing what is supposed to be done in terms of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa in the attainment of gender equality.
And it's not only women in leadership positions. You also have the issue of, I read through some of your reports, there's an issue called gender bias, yes. Or voter bias, I beg your pardon, whereas at the polls you have a lot of women who have registered to vote, women who are the ones that actually come out in their numbers to actually vote. But you look at the representation and positions in Parliament as well, it's also males.
One of the suggestions and one of the findings of the Commission for Gender Equality since 2009 that we have done to the IEC and the portfolio committees, the relevant portfolio parliament, says, let's have a zebra crossing in political parties. Every political party, when they submit their names, it should be gender equal. We must also, as a country, adopt a policy on because we have a framework now. We don't have an act which compels political party to have 50-50 represented. Even more, it's not supposed to be 50. It could be 60-40. So those are some of the things, compelling things that, it is time that I see through the act they can amend, or through Parliament that we change this scenario. Because women cannot be used as a voting cows, but yet they are not there. Their voices are not heard. They are suffering the most, getting water from the streams. Some, if you look at the Eastern Cape, rural province like Eastern Cape, Limpopo, you see how women are suffering the most. You heard the story of Maria and Lucia, were thrown to the pigs because, they were looking for food. So those are some, and you find that those two have voted, but yet where's justice for them? Because we need to find a mechanism whereby political parties and leaders also take heed of this notion that, women are there and their voices shouldn't only be seen, but to be heard out there, and they must occupy a strategic position of policy where they drive the policy and narratives.
Just lastly from my side, you talk about recommendations, but unfortunately the recommendations of this Chapter 9 institution are not binding, and I think this is a conversation that we've been having out there in public. Should the recommendations by Chapter 9 institutions be made public? If not, how will you hold other institutions to account?
I'm glad you have asked that. The Commission has gone to the Supreme Court of Appeal, whereby it was said the recommendation of not only us, but even our sister organization, Women Rights Commission, are not binding. However, they say, when it's supposed to be certain enforcement issues, like the report on forced sterilization, we can go to court and find the recourse. What we are going now, we are going to go to the Constitutional Court as a Commission for Gender Equality and Human Rights Commission to ascertain the extent of our powers. As Chapter 9, we cannot have these wonderful findings and then the duty bearers refuse to implement them. We're glad the Department of Health in the issue of forced sterilization, they have implemented most of the recommendations from the Commission for Gender Equality, because some of the things, it's not about us, it's about the people that we serve, it's about us to advance the gender equality in the country. We are going to the Constitutional Court to ascertain the extent and to seek clarity on the powers of the Commission. Yes, we can find recourse, yes, we can do something, yes, we can litigate and subpoena people, but we need the Constitutional Court to make a declaratory order on so far as our powers and other Chapter 9 are concerned. We know about the public protector. That is the key question. Should we get that, Natasha? I am telling you, we will help to advance gender equality tremendously in the country, because now it's just recommendations. People don't take them too seriously.
Mr. Baloyi, thank you so much. And of course, we look forward to those discussions that will be held here inside. Of course, Ayanda, the program will be starting shortly. We do expect Minister Sinisio Chikunga to actually be here. And of course, other panelists, but trust us, SABC News, to deliver the latest in regards to the story. With that said, it's back to you in studio.
And we look forward to all that reporting. Natasha Phiri, live to us there from Sandton in Johannesburg. Thanks very much indeed.